So if you haven't seen the title for today's video, it's We Found Elvis on the Trail and He Hasn't Left the Canyon. Now, if you're old enough to know that Elvis left the building, maybe all that is kind of funny to you. If not, laugh anyway. I thought it was pretty good. So today's ride is in Box Canyon. It's out near Florence. You head east on 60 out of Phoenix, Mesa, Apache Junction, Gold Canyon. You're heading off towards Superior. Then you hang a right and you go south towards Florence. You don't go all that far before you hang a left, pull into the staging area at Cottonwood. So this is where we're going to start, and we're going into Box Canyon. We're going to hit the Elvis Trail and some other stuff. We are going to have a blast today. Well, it's mid-September and the temperatures are finally starting to drop below 100 some days. And today, it looks like it's predicted 89 about the time we start, around 10 o'clock. And we should be back before 2 and 97 degrees. It's going to be nice.
All right, so here's the crowd today. There's 3 machines, 4 guys. I'm a passenger. That's Larry, of course, and his villain. We have Richard in his Arctic Cat. And the man who's smiling, that is Bill in his Kawasaki.
Well, it's time to hit the road, and I do mean road. This is a 2-lane dirt road. You've got the big semis hauling the doubles, meaning 2 trailers. I'm not sure what they're hauling out of here, dirt rock or something, but man, they sure do stir up the dust when they go by. Of course, we don't want to hang around out here on this dirt road with those semis, and it's so flat, easy, wide open, move along pretty fast. In order to make this an adventure, I do not want just a nice straight road like we just turned off. So I've picked a lot of different trails, whether it's by name or number. There'll be so many intersections, I don't think I am going to manage to show them all to you. Keep in mind, in the details for the video, that's underneath the video if you're on a computer or even on your TV, figure out how to get down to the detail. I always put where we go, and for the most part it's correct. Sometimes we vary and I just don't manage to get back to changing. But you'll get the idea. Check out all the numbers. The first part of the ride is the trail ride, scenery, getting up to Elvis, where we hit 8 out of 10, and that's where the excitement begins. So if you want to fast forward to the excitement, go ahead. I'm going to put some music on so you can just take in the terrain, and maybe you will notice some of the intersections. I'll try to put some of the trail numbers up on the screen to give you an idea. We almost missed our left turn onto Whoop-de-Doo roller coaster, or NW2008. This part of Elvis is Sandman Road, and it is in a wash with boulders in various spots. Some you may want to go around on the bypass. Sometimes, like we did, you may miss and wind up in there with no way to turn around, and then you just got to go forward. Okay, I'm working on getting out of the passenger seat so I can shoot action shots of people doing fun stuff. And here comes Bill and his Kawasaki on this bypass. It is so steep. It doesn't really show in here, but when he came up and started to come over, all he saw was sky. I gave him some directions. He did a great job. He made it on down. So this obstacle, no bypass. But then again, it's not that bad. So all you have to do is pick a great line and there's no problem. And of course, if your vehicle is protected underneath with armor, that improves your odds as well. Good clearance, that helps. And a spotter doesn't hurt. So I was helping Bill pick the correct line, and he did a really nice job. I got a feeling he could have got through there without my help, but I was out there videoing, so why not? Never hurts to have a little bit of extra help. Well, this obstacle, there is a bypass, but I didn't realize where we were on this trail until we were already kind of locked into it. We could have backed up, I guess, but nope, we had to go forward. It's called the Notch at this point, and many vehicles have come in here, gotten a tire up on one side or the other on a rock, and managed to break axles and various other parts. Now, Larry squeezed right on through here just beautifully, and so did everybody else. I gotta say, this would have been a great opportunity to get out and video everybody, and yet again, so wrapped up in being a passenger, enjoying the ride, I didn't even think about it until it was way too late. But here's what I did catch at the end. I don't know, for me, I normally try to stay out of the rocks, so this was quite exciting. Well, that gives you an idea of Sandman. Just a little bit more roughness, and the rest of it's pretty easy. You get to a gate, you come out of there, you're going to hang right, and now it's time for my kind of fun. No rock, just steep. So that wash with the rocks, Sandman, that we just came out of, that is also part of the Elvis loop. And now, here we are, Sandman, Elvis, a whole bunch of names. All these different trails come together at various points, but there is an actual Elvis loop. We're not going to do the whole loop today. We're just going to do pieces of it, and I tell you, the pieces we do are a lot of fun. I haven't done the others yet. I don't know, they might be even steeper and more crazy. I don't know. We'll have to come back and try it. Right now we're going to have fun going up this hill. Somewhere I looked down and I think I saw 28% for one of the grades. It's crazy fun, and I can see Larry is smiling when I look over there. He is having a very good time going up this hill. I did manage to capture Bill coming up the very last leg of this same climb that Larry just finished. You can get an idea of just how rugged it is. On that hill, I mean, the scenery is gorgeous, but you see how quickly the hill is going to drop? That's our trail out there in front of us. We were up here in March, and there were people parked all over up here. They moved out of the way so we could get through, and they had these grins on their face telling us how much fun going down was going to be. It is pretty rough, but man, is it beautiful up here. Look at that. This is so steep, I don't know, but it's got to be over 28%. I just didn't look. But I did try putting the camera freehanding on the stick to give you a different angle. You see how much that camera is bouncing around? That gives you an idea just how rough it is out here. I gave up on that idea. Larry's picking a great path as he goes down here because it is steep as can be and rough. And that edge on the driver's side, it is much closer and so steep you do not want to roll off that thing. Man, this is a fun ride in either direction.
is NW 2052. And I had totally forgotten that these NW trails on X, they have no rating. So when you come out here, you never really know what you're going to get into. And in Box Canyon, you should kind of expect what we just found. It is crazy steep, very narrow, rutted, slippery. It's a challenge. This is definitely not a beginner trail. Well, the good news for me is I'm riding with Larry. He's an experienced driver, so I'm in good shape. Now, every time we go around a corner and up over a rise like the one you see in front of us, we think, we're almost to the top. Nope, we're not. It's always one more. But eventually, we are going to get to the top, and then I'm depending on X to know which way to go. And we're going to find out. I don't know what I'm doing.
When we reached the top of this climb, we were right about here. The plan was to follow the blue line out to the waterfall. Then we could shoot video going up and down, which would be a lot of fun. As we topped out, all either one of us could see was the sky. And unfortunately, at the top of this climb, I was confused when looking at the map on which way to go. But we needed a quick decision because we had people behind us coming up a very steep incline. This is not a safe place to stop. I suggested we hang a left on the flat part of the ridge so I could determine the correct path. Now here's the reason for my confusion, and this has been going on for a long time, and it's all about this one little button over here. And once I got home, this is how I know, I was so frustrated, I finally said, no matter how much time it takes, I'm going to find out why the orientation of the map keeps changing. Well, it turns out each time you press that little button, it's going to cycle through one of three different functions. Now, I know, and I've been using, you press the button the first time, it's going to zoom to the current location. I didn't realize about the other two functions. At an intersection where I wasn't sure, I just kept pressing zoom, trying to zoom in more and more and more. But here's what happens after the first press. The next time you hit it, it's direction of travel. And then the third time you hit it, it rotates the map into north up. And it's going to repeat those three things and cycle through them every time you push the button. I finally understand. Well, we'll find out on the next ride if I really do understand how this works. So we stopped here just for a little while to enjoy the view and make a decision on which way to go down. It was a narrow ridge top and nobody really wanted to try to make a U-turn. And Richard, in his Arctic Cat, he has a Garmin GPS. He was examining the different routes. He said, look, we can just go straight. Follow me. So we did. Recent monsoon rains have been helping the desert greenery, and the Arcatio, well, they're going to be flowering really soon. So once we started the descent, I mean, it got extremely steep and sketchy in spots. And Bill, after we got to the bottom, said on his instruments, he saw 35% as the steep section. And remember, he's driving, so his eye's not glued to it. And of course, I guess I wasn't paying attention because I didn't see any of that. I was just taking in the scenery and the excitement. This was a fun descent. All right, it's time for a break in the shade, a little lunch, and decision making. So instead of heading to the waterfalls, we decided it was time to head back. This is actually part of Elvis, but Mineral Mountain at this point, Elvis and BLM 6133, I mean, they are so easy compared to what we just came off. Now this is going to take us a short distance and we're going to hang a right. We'll still be on Elvis, we'll be back on Sandman, and that BLM 6132 that we came down before is now going to be an exciting climb up. God, this is a fun ride. Everything that we thought was a challenge to come down, now you need the traction to get back up and the power. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm just going to put some music on and let you enjoy. We're having so much fun on Elvis, but all good things have to come to an end. Now, we're not going to go back through the rocks on Sandman Road. I'd already planned a loop in this area where we come in through the rocks and go out on the hills. And these things are still crazy steep. Man, we're having fun. So here's another climb, and it's looking really good. But then we come down to this intersection, and we should have just gone straight. I mean, the map even said should go straight, but it looked very steep. So Larry said, "What about that way?" Pointing to the left. I looked at the map, and it looked like, hey, that's an easy way around. And we can see the road is heading right to where we want to go, and it looks like it's going to be pretty easy. Of course, we cruise out this way only to find out there's a reason we weren't supposed to go that way. It dead ends out here. And by dead end, I mean it's basically a cliff. So you don't want to go this way. So then we had to turn around and come back and try again. Hopefully, now that I know how to use that locate button on OnX off-road maps, some of this may be reduced, but I'm pretty sure I will still manage to make a wrong turn here and there. It adds to the adventure. Well, there was a little bit more excitement on the way back, but it wasn't very long before Elvis came to an end, and then it was just much easier roads. Still fun, but certainly not that butt-puckering effect that we had in several spots on Elvis. It's been a very fun day, so I think it's time to head for the trailers and see what everybody thinks.
All right, Larry with the villain, what's your story about the ride today?
It was a great ride. A lot of different things. A couple of hills that were workable. They were fun. A little scary coming up a couple of them sideways, but and then a couple of real sharp turns at the top, which always, gives you that little extra tush power.
You don't want to make the wrong choice.
No. No. Otherwise, it was a good ride. We had good guys again. Some of them pay attention to the radio, some of them don't.
Well, some of them has an actual hearing problem, so we got to cut him some slack. But I do want to thank Larry for being my sponsor today. That means he let me ride in the passenger seat.
That'll be the last time.
That villain, I don't know. I'll be finding out next week what the story is. All right, so this is Bill. I remembered Bill's name today, and he's driving a Kawasaki. How was it today?
It was great. I sort of enjoyed some of those hills, especially the one that we hit the 35-degree angle going down. That was sort of fun.
Oh yeah, that was going down. I saw 28 going up on the Elvis, so we had some excitement.
Yes, it was. It's almost at the tip limit of the specifications for my side-by-side, where they said 35-degree...
You got specifications? I can find none for the villain.
Yeah, mine actually came with a tag on it. So
we have none. They're not telling.
So now I don't know if that was front or back or left or right. So it just said 35-degree tilt.
Yeah, that's this way. All right, so we got to do some more.
Sounds good.
You're Wildcat, Arctic Cat. What do you think about today's ride?
Today was excellent. I gotta say, it was a step above last ride. Some lot more technical stuff to have to watch for. Great ride. Temperature wasn't too bad. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, Elvis. I love Elvis. I'm sorry we didn't get to do the waterfall. That would have really topped it off. But we didn't get much sleep last night. Larry and I were kind of tired.
I've done waterfall before, not in this.
All right. Well, we'll be ready for another ride soon.